When performing a glute bridge on a Smith machine, you want to use a Smith machine that is set on an angle like this one. The reason for this is because these machines don't actually have set catches, which means that you can't lower to full stretch in the glutes. These catches at the bottom, as you can see, can be moved up and down, which means that you can dip quite low with your glutes and get full extension. You also want to get a nice big power guidance pad to put onto the bar to protect your hips so you don't get bruised. And you want to set the bench up just behind the Smith machine. If you have a bench like this one, you want to make sure the straight side of the bench is in the middle of the bar, where your back is going to be sitting straight on the bench and not at an angle. Bring the bench pretty close to the bar so that when your knees are bent, it's going to be comfortable to slip your shoulders up onto it and you're going to be able to thrust. You don't want to use this Smith machine. This one has fixed catches at the bottom, as you can see, so you won't be able to lower your glutes down far enough to get a good stretch. So to set up for your glute bridge, you want to slip down and sit so you're resting with your back against the bench. Straighten your legs underneath the bar and kind of, get yourself comfortable and wiggle around a little bit. Then you want to lift up so your shoulders are on the bench and then position the bar in the crease of your hip flexors. Play around with this angle to make sure that it's nice and snug. Bring your feet back so that they are slightly behind your knees. One of the mistakes I see people make is they have their feet too far forward and their feet too wide. You want to make sure that your feet are about hip distance apart and no wider. Then you take an inhale and exhale, thrust the bar up, lower it down, and then exhale and thrust. You want to make sure that when you're thrusting, you get a good squeeze and a pause at the top. Your shoulder blades should be resting on the bench behind you. And if you look at my neck and head here, they are hardly moving. They are on a nice curve, which means that my transverse abdominis is turned on. And the only thing that is really moving is my lower body. So you have a micro pause at the top, drop down, stretch in the glutes, and then a micro pause at the top to make sure you're getting maximum thrust. Remember, this is called a hip thrust. You want to make sure that you're thrusting and squeezing into the glutes with a micro pause at the top for maximum effect. Do not rock your body up and down. You want to make sure you have minimal movement in your upper body. When you've finished, simply hook the bar and sit back down.